So what brings you to New York, and what's happening with Internet Week, and kind of what are you up to?
Well, I just definitely came out here to be a part of the whole Internet Week because I've been hearing about it. I got a couple friends that come out to all the tech conferences and stuff like that, and they always tell me about it. And me being a hip hop artist, I normally wouldn't do that. I'd spend my time doing other stuff, but now I realize why it's important. Being an artist, everything's going digital, so I want to kind of come and study some of this, this whole movement and see what's going on. It's been real useful for me. So, the whole week out here in New York, I just decided to come out here and just, visit like a normal person,
Just a few years ago, it was like, you got to make that hit thing, that hit super expensive music video on MTV to hit big, and that's it. But is that the way the game is now, or how has it changed?
And it's definitely different right now. It's all about supply and demand. And right now, there's a big demand for content. Like, fans, it doesn't matter if you're a rock star or a country singer, they feel like they want to see you now. I think that's why reality shows are so big now. Before, nobody ever cared about that. Now they get a visual image, they get to know the person. So this is the way that you can get people to know a different side of you, not just your voice, but see you, your movements, and how you really feel about stuff. So you can, record content, upload it to so many different places now, and I think it's getting to the customer and the consumer a lot quicker. So, I take advantage of that.
Okay, so how do you connect with video with your audience?
With me, basically, I know that there's a need for people to see what goes on behind the scenes on a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I could tell them, but it's different when you see it. So I would always keep a cameraman with me. Like when I fly and I go everywhere, most of the time the labels, they don't want to pay for a cameraman. That's not in the budget. But I personally pay out of my own pocket to bring my cameraman because I understand the importance of that footage. And when I get it, I'd look at it and see what's interesting and see what I want my fans to see, and then I'd give it to them. You don't want to, you can film anything. I can film myself standing and staring at a wall. That's not going to be interesting. But there's interesting parts of my life every day because there's a lot of people, young people, that look up to people like me and they want to be in my position. They want to be a star. They want to be this guy that's on TV singing these records, So you show them the hard work, you show them the good parts, the bad parts, and they eat it up,
That's cool. And so the videos are you're putting them in a bunch of places.
Yeah.
Where do they show up? YouTube or?
Basically YouTube, and then people put them on their MySpace players, and they're basically on everywhere you can think of that's popular. People are on Facebook, they're on allhiphop.com, they're on so many different sites, but it's spreading because there's so many different widgets where people can plug into their own sites, and basically they're seeing your content. It's going everywhere. So you never want to be basically dependent on just one medium and be like, I'm only going to promote on this side, or I'm only going to promote with this one. You want to be all across the board, and they're taking it everywhere. And that's the beauty of my music also. I do mixtapes, and the mixtapes spread everywhere. People bootleg them, and that's why I'll go international and do some songs that naturally don't have a video for them, but people know the songs, because the mixtapes is taking it way out there.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So this digital world helps you enhance your reputation in a huge way, get the word out in a huge way. How does that help you with your business in terms of selling stuff? I mean,
well,
how does that connect it, if you will?
Let me put it like this. I sold, to this day, in a hip-hop artist, I'm the biggest selling hip-hop artist in the world when it comes to ringtones. One song, Ridin Dirty, the song I had, sold over 4 million plus ringtones. And that's the biggest ringtone to this day in the hip-hop world. And the reason why is because all the digital work that I do. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many people, my fans, they're trained to use the computer. So I have so many of those that it was easier for them to get the ringtones, and they know where to get it. They know about the websites. And once the record hit big, those fans were already cultured into that world, and they just end up buying my ringtone like crazy, And they buy stuff off of iTunes. I managed to sell a lot of stuff digitally, and I think it's because I respect the digital market.
What's happening with the music scene in LA, and how are artists sort of succeeding? In other words, how are they going to connect with their audience? What's the next thing, or how's that evolving?
Oh, they're really just getting smart, man. Back in the days, it used to be just about a tape, and you only used to go in there and record because you wanted people to listen to the music on the tape, and then it moved to CDs, and now it's evolving, it's going digital. Hip-hop is going into movies and so much stuff, so it's really about networking and going to these events. You bump into somebody that's doing a soundtrack for a movie and realize you have to place your music there. And now the main thing that everybody's doing is they're going digital. This MySpace thing and this YouTube thing is just out of control. Little kids that are 4 years old can tell you about it.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach them, you go where they're going, and you just flood it with material, good material.